Today we're going to talk about if you're a student of the game or you're a young person and you want to become a horse trainer, what you got to do, what your obstacles may be on the way to becoming that trainer. And pretty much, I've talked about this many times with many different people. And being a horse trainer, there is no horse trainer college. There are equine universities that will teach you different things about horses. There are equine management universities like the University of Arizona where you can come out of there and be a steward or whatnot. But there is no actual hands-on racetrack management university, and mainly because there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of students. People for years and years and years have come to the racetrack and learned by doing. Like if you go on my Facebook page, it says graduated the University of Aqueduct Racetrack on my, or the New York Racing Association University. For people who want to become trainers, you really must come to the racetrack, and it's pretty much by doing. If horse trainer is what you want, the process is pretty straightforward. Depending on what level of equine education you have, that will determine where you start when you come to the racetrack. So for the complete novice, for the person who just has a desire to be a horse trainer but doesn't have any horse experience, you come here and you reach out to somebody like me or another trainer or Todd Pletcher or anyone for that matter, and you say, I want to become a trainer. I'd like to come to work for you. I'd like to learn a little bit about the business. And what you do is you start at the bottom. That's like any business. You go to work for 7-Eleven, you're going to be stocking shelves. You come to the racetrack, the bottom might not seem like a bottom, but it's walking horses. And you'll walk horses, and it's a good thing. You get to learn a lot about horses. You get to learn how they handle different situations. You're going to learn how not to get stepped on, how not to get bit, how to hold a horse when he's getting a bath, what to touch on a horse, what not to touch on a horse. You're going to learn a lot of hands-on stuff just by being a hot walker. And depending on yourself, depending on how badly you want to move ahead, you're going to be able to move forward in this business pretty quickly as you learn your lessons. You're going to have to, the next stop would be groom. You could be a groom. Or if you're young and you're smaller and you have a riding background, maybe it's going to be exercise rider. But the next level from hot walker is groom or exercise rider. If you have that desire, if you have that burning desire like I did, you'll spend your afternoons holding horses for the veterinarians, asking questions of the veterinarians, asking the foremen, the grooms, the exercise riders, all the things you want to know about the business, because you got to be like a sponge. You got to absorb all this stuff, and there's so much to learn. Everybody has a story. Everybody has had things happen to them. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I went to work for Frank Martin. He was already in the Hall of Fame. And when Frank Martin, a Hall of Fame trainer, hired me as an assistant trainer, I was just blown away. Well, one day, I'm coming home with a horse after the races at Aqueduct, and he's got blood and mucus and foam pouring out of his head. And Frank Martin saw it, and he freaked out. He had never seen a horse before. And what that horse did was he choked. When a horse chokes, everything comes out their head. And I had seen it before, and I knew that the way to get it was to either give him water until whatever he choked passed, or we get a veterinarian and pass a tube on him. But Frank Martin, here he is in the Hall of Fame. He had never seen a horse choke. So as a person who's learning this game, you want to listen to everybody's stories. You want to listen to why people do things, what they've seen, what they've heard, and learn from all the different people that you pass on the way up. Befriend them and learn from them. And so you're going to move from hot walker to groom to exercise rider. And the first level of management is going to be foreman. Foreman sets feed, make sure the veterinarians are doing their work, make sure the grooms are doing their work. You're like the manager of the help, and you're a foreman, and that's your first level management. As you learn the foreman's job and you get that, and you do it well, that trainer may promote you to assistant trainer. I mean, that's the ultimate goal for everybody that wants to get ahead in this game, is to become an assistant trainer. From assistant trainer, when you think the time is right, you move on to trainer. You want to become a trainer? They're not gonna hand it to you on a silver platter. They're gonna ask you what your experience is. They're going to ask you how many years you have in the game. They're going to make people who are already licensed trainers sign an application for you. You're going to have to get the support of 5 or 10 people before they'll let you take out a trainer's license. Once you take out your trainer's license, you got to pass a test. Depending on the jurisdiction, some tests are hard, some tests are easy. But New York, you're going to take an 80-question quiz, and you better pass it. And you're going to take a practical test. They're going to take you into a barn. They're going to make you put bridles on horses, identify blinkers, identify problems on horses, identify the different parts of a horse, and you better pass the practical too. You pass the practical, you pass the written, and you are ready to get a trainer's license. So it's a lot of things. It's the education from the bottom going forward. It's finding a trainer who's willing to put you on the management team and make you a foreman, make you an assistant trainer. And then ultimately, it's passing your trainer's test and getting your trainer's license. And then there's the hardest part of all. You could be a licensed trainer, but you got to have an owner willing to give you his money, his time, and his horses. Because being a trainer, there's hundreds of trainers out there. And they're all good trainers. They've all come up through the ranks, just like you want to come up through the ranks. And of those hundreds of trainers, there's hundreds of trainers who don't have any horses, who would love to have horses. So you have to have owners, and you have to be kind to owners, and you have to communicate with owners, and you have to support those owners, and you have to do a job better than all the guys, because we all charge the same thing. So whether it's Wayne Lucas, Todd Pletcher, Gary Contessa, Chad Brown, or Gary Siaka, or any of these trainers that are out here, you have to somehow convince those owners to give you both horses and give you money to buy horses. So just getting to be a trainer does not automatically make you a trainer. You're not a trainer until your name is next to a horse on that program.